In this absolutely chaotic world we live in, our own minds can feel like the one thing we have the least control over. But what if I told you the secret to a calmer, less stressful life was actually way simpler than you think? Today, we're going to unpack some ancient wisdom, but given a fresh spin for our modern lives. All right, let's just dive right in with a story that comes from one of the most high-pressure places on Earth. I'm talking about Wall Street. Just let that sink in for a second. Here's a trader who has mastered making these massive, high-stakes decisions in minutes. He can handle huge financial risks. And yet, the one thing he can't get a grip on, the storm brewing inside his own head. And that's surprisingly relatable, isn't it? And that really gets to the heart of it for all of us, right? I mean, we spend years, sometimes decades, training for a job, hitting the gym, learning a new skill. But when do we ever actually set aside time to train our own minds? Train them for calm, for focus, for a little bit of peace. Well, that is exactly what we are going to get into. And forget about needing some expensive retreat or a complicated new ritual. We're talking about a quick, totally practical solution. This number. That's it. This is the only number you really need to remember from this whole thing. So what on earth could it be? That's right, 10 minutes. Just 10. Think about it. That's about how long it takes to brew some coffee or get lost scrolling through your phone or just wait for the bus. And in that same little slice of time, you could actually fundamentally change your relationship with stress. Now, the tool we're going to use for this comes from Zen philosophy. But let's be super clear here, okay? This is not about becoming a monk or anything like that. Think of it less like a religion and more like a practical workout for your brain, one that's designed to fit right into your busy modern life. So how does this actually work? Well, it all kind of boils down to 5 core principles. And I want you to think of these as your brand new toolkit for building a calmer mind. Okay, so here's the whole toolkit at a glance. We're going to break down each one of these 5 simple but seriously powerful steps. All right, first up, stop fighting with your thoughts. Most of the advice we get tells us to wrestle with those negative thoughts, to force them out and replace them with happy ones. The Zen approach, it's the total opposite. Don't fight them, just watch them, like they're clouds floating by in the sky. When you stop struggling, they lose their power. You start to realize, hey, I'm the sky, not the cloud just passing through. Okay, on to our next principle. And it all starts with this number right here, 96. Any ideas? Well, that's the average number of times we check our phones every single day. Wild, right? So here's the idea. What if you took just one of those 96 moments and instead of scrolling, you just took 10 slow, deep breaths? That's it. See, you're not adding some new chore to your to-do list. You're just swapping a moment of distraction for a moment of reset. It's like a little micro reset for your mind. Principle number 3 is all about demolishing the myth of multitasking. There's this classic Zen saying, when drinking tea, just drink tea. For us today, that basically means when you're replying to a Slack message, just reply to the Slack message. Don't also check your email and have a podcast playing. It's all about doing one thing with your full attention, and you'll find you do it better, you do it faster, and with way less mental burnout. So let's talk about information overload for a second. Every day, your brain processes something like 34 gigabytes of information. That is just a staggering amount of data and noise and constant stimulation. So what's the antidote to all that noise? It's beautifully simple: silence. Think of it like this. 10 minutes of quiet isn't just empty time. It's an active recovery session for your entire nervous system. It's like taking your frazzled mind to a spa. And that leads us to our final and maybe the most important principle. Our whole culture is obsessed with what's coming next. It's constantly asking, what's next? What's the next deadline, the next goal, the next thing to worry about? The Zen alternative just flips that whole question. It asks, what's now? Because here's the bottom line, the fundamental truth. All that pressure we feel, it lives in the future. It's in the deadline that hasn't hit yet, the meeting that hasn't happened. But peace, calm, focus, that can only ever be found in this exact moment. Right here, right now. So after walking through this really simple toolkit, it all comes down to one final thought, a question that's really just for you. The thing is, you already have the 10 minutes. It's hiding in plain sight in your day. It's disguised as mindless scrolling on your phone, or waiting in line for coffee, or being stuck in traffic. The time isn't the problem, the choice is. So, why not choose to invest those minutes in yourself? Why not give this a shot?